don't ever want to go hunting again. As of right now. Don't. Like, that's a stud. Such a load off my chest here on hunt 92. Alright, well, here we are. It's November 10th. About 20 degrees. Just absolutely picture perfect morning. Little bit of wind, just enough to, feel like they're probably on their feet. But man, what a just beautiful morning, man. I actually already had a buck cruising through here right while I was setting up. It was too dark. I couldn't even tell what he was. But about 30 yards right here on this hillside, he come cruising by. So, man, I will be surprised if we don't have a shooter buck come cruising by. It's one of those mornings that it just feels like it's bound to happen.
Well, guys, deer season can be unpredictable, as I learned this past season once again. And, while I did end up getting a good buck later in season, I had some really unfortunate encounters earlier in season. Man, just those kind of encounters that just make you mad, To begin with, it's early November. I'm out there up in my saddle. It's a beautiful frosty morning. And all of a sudden, here comes a really nice 10-point that we've had some pictures of. He's coming my way.
Yeah.
Gets in there to about 10 yards, and I shoot right over his back. I think I barely grazed. I mean, I seen on my broadhead, I had a couple hairs, so I barely grazed his back. But man, just aggravating, I ended up looking back, and my sight was actually on 40 yards. I had somehow left it. That's one of the negative things about using a 110 slider is sometimes you forget. And that's exactly what happened. Had it set on 40 yards, and deer come into 10 yards, and I shot over his back, obviously. But yeah, just one of those frustrating encounters. So anyway, it's a couple days later, and we're back out there, similar location, just pretty much on the other side of the valley from where this encounter had happened.
Well, here we are. It's November 11th. It's a little windy, but it's cold. It feels pretty good. The buck should be cruising. Got in here a little late, but here lately it seems like bucks have been moving mid-morning more than even right at daylight, so we're going to set it out for a while and see what happens.
I'm sitting there. It's mid-morning. Been pretty slow, honestly. It's warmer, about 50 degrees. I hadn't seen many deer. I've seen a couple smaller bucks, but I'm sitting there just scrolling my phone, to be totally honest with you, not expecting to see anything. And all of a sudden, I look up, and 30 yards from me already, coming fast, was an absolute giant. This deer was at least 150, probably closer to 160. A deer that we had seen the previous year, but he wasn't near this big.
Man.
But you know, I just didn't have any time. I mean, he was right under me, just within seconds. You know, I try to get my bow. I managed to get it, and I try to stop him while he's 10 yards. And unfortunately, this deer is so skittish. He's blind in one eye, which I'm sure just adds to, you know, how skittish this deer is. And as soon as I stopped him, man, he caught something he didn't like. He was right downwind from me, so I'm sure he just caught my wind and turned around and bolted. I tried to stop him, but you know, there wasn't any stopping him. This deer's probably 6 or 7 years old. He's so smart, and man, it was just soul crushing. I'm not gonna lie.
Guys, I don't even have the words to describe how I feel right now. I'm literally sick to my stomach. When you think about the hours that we spend sitting in a tree, and how rare an opportunity like that is, and the fact that he was 10 yards and we couldn't get it done, that'll make you want to quit. Just hang it up and never go hunting again. I ain't even lying. It's like, what are we even doing if we can't get it done when they're 10 yards? That was a giant. Man, my wind was blowing right at him. He was running and he stopped because he got my wind. And if I wouldn't have tried to stop him, I might could have got it done. But he was literally right there, 10 yards. Giant. I don't ever want to go hunting again. As of right now, I'm done.
So anyway, I'm just sitting there in my stand after this had happened, just crushed, you know, sitting there, just running it back over in my mind over and over, thinking about what I could have done different, and man, just devastated. But you know, as I'm sitting there just trying to gather my thoughts, I look up and here comes another really nice deer, not near as big as the first one, but a really good, probably 130-inch 8-point, and he's coming my way. So I get my bow again, you know, he's coming in, he's about 40 yards, and he stops. He's kind of behind some limbs, but I have a little bit of a hole, and I think I might can slip one through. So I draw back and put it right on him, try to slip it through, and I let an arrow fly. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to pin it through, and my arrow smacked the limb. So the deer took off unharmed, and I went and found my arrow. You know, it was clean. Didn't stick in the limb, but it definitely hit one, looking back on the film, that just knocked it right over his back. So, man, you know, just such a disappointing morning. You know, it's tough enough to have one giant get away, but two really good deer that, you know, wasn't able to close it out on them. I mean, but at the end of the day, you know, I knew the only way I'd ever have another opportunity is just getting back out there. So we got back out there. You know, I hunt the rest of the season. I have a few encounters. You know, I pass a couple decent deer. One particular deer is a really nice 8-point, probably 130 caliber, but I elected to pass him actually a couple times, had the opportunity to kill him, but you know, he's one of them deer that we've known for a while, and he seems to really just hang out on our place. And so I figured, man, if there's any deer that could make it another year, it'd be him. So I did elect to pass him. So, I'm not complaining. I did have opportunities that I could have killed, decent deer, obviously. But just never had another chance at a really good one. So I keep hunting, all through November, and rifle season coming around, it kind of slowed down. I didn't see a lot. However, Dad killed an absolute giant on opening morning of rifle season, 163, biggest buck of his life. Just an awesome deer, and awesome to see him get one. It was by far the biggest buck of his life, by about 20 inches. And another thing that was kind of cool about that was he killed it while he was just up walking around. That's kind of how he started out hunting, and to see him get the biggest buck of his life like that is pretty neat. And then, season rocked on a couple more weeks, late rifle season, and my brother Wiley killed another giant, 150 and 7/8. Just a couple of giants, man, and just awesome to see. Neither one of them got it on film. They were hunting by themselves. Just different things that kept them from being able to get it on film, but that's okay. Would have been nice, but it's all right. It don't take away from the accomplishment of killing just a couple of absolute studs. But yeah, just hunted the rest of the year all the way up till about late December, and muzzleloader season rolls around. We're grinding every day, just not getting an opportunity. And finally, we have a really good deer show up on camera. He's about a 9 or 10 point. He's new. He was a 10, I think, and he actually broke a tine off. So he's a 9. But he's a new deer. He's super nice, and I'm pretty pumped because he's a shooter for sure. So the first opportunity I get, I'm hunting there where we got pictures of him. So Saturday morning, I get out there early, but unfortunately it wasn't quite early enough because the deer I was after was already in front of the camera. And I did bump him a little bit, but I was in the Ranger when he left from what I could gather on the camera. So he didn't see me. I'm sure he just heard the Ranger. Wasn't spooked that bad, I didn't feel like. Just moved off into the woods. So I go ahead and climb up in the stand, and it ain't a couple hours till I look behind me and there's a really nice, what I think is a 10 point behind me at about 225 yards. I get my muzzleloader up, look through the scope, and it's not the deer I'm after, but it's another pretty nice 10. So I go ahead and take a crack at him. It's getting late in season. He's a pretty good deer. And unfortunately, 225 yards is a little much for the muzzleloader because I apparently missed him because we looked all day and never found anything. So, man, just another, thing to add to all the soul-crushing opportunities, missed opportunities I've had throughout the year. But, I still felt like our buck was in the area, so that evening I slip in. I decide, I'm going to try to get a little closer to where these deer are coming out. And so I move up the field to try to cut the distance a little bit. All right, guys. Well, we're just fixing to head back. Going back to pretty much the same spot we went to this morning, but I think we're going to find a tree to climb that's a little closer to where we've been seeing them up there on the hill. But we're mostly just after the 10 point or 9 point or whatever he is. I think he's a 9. But he's a really nice deer, and we haven't seen him yet, but he's been daylighting every time we're not in there pretty much. So hopefully it'll happen this evening. We feel pretty good about it. So we're gonna head back and see what happens. All right, so I'm just trying to find a good looking tree that I can climb a little ways up. So the deer have been coming out all the way at the other end of that field. We've been on the totally opposite side of this. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a stand right down there. But it's about 225 yards across this field, which is kind of a little much for a muzzleloader. I mean, you could probably do it, but I kind of want to cut the distance. So I don't know, I kind of like the looks of this tree right here. I think maybe we can just climb right up there on that limb and still see where these deer have been coming out. And it's gonna be about 130 yards.
See if we can't climb that. All right, well, we made it up in here. This is perfect. About probably, I don't know, 8 feet off the ground. But I got a straight shot right here where I've been seeing these deer coming out. About 125 yards. Feel pretty good about it. These deer, there's been a bunch of them, but they bed in the valley just off on the other side of this field, and they hadn't been coming out till pretty much right at dark. So, but I wanted to make sure and get in here good and early to make sure we didn't jump anything off, but we got a couple hours to wait, so but we'll see what happens. I like this. Got the nitro fire. Still hadn't killed a deer with it, but hopefully it changes this evening.
So I'm sitting here in this tree about 8 foot off the ground, and about an hour, and I've got a pretty nice 8-point come out on the other end of the field. He's not a shooter, pretty good deer, will definitely be a good next year if he's still around. But I'm just watching him, and I ain't gonna lie, I was debating a little bit about shooting him, but I decided I better not. You know, it's sunny and he's just chilling. I mean, so I feel pretty confident that there's gonna be some more deer come out a little later. Sure enough, about 30 minutes later, it's getting close to dark, and all of a sudden the bucks start piling out. I'm watching a few smaller bucks, and all of a sudden, here comes my deer out of the woods, heading out into the field. So I raised my gun up, and I knew it was fixing to happen.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Guys, I don't even know what to say right now. This has been a tough season for me. Missed a really nice 10-point this morning. And I'll be honest, I was at one of the low points in my career. That's a stud. He showed up for the first time just like a week ago on camera. And I just cannot believe it. I mean, we hadn't had any pictures of him as far as I know until just like a week ago, and that deer showed up. That's a stud, y'all. Listen, tomorrow's New Year's Eve, December 30th. I am so blessed to have got it done this late. Like I said, it has been so tough this year. So many things that have happened that, I mean, I was just so discouraged to finally get it done, y'all. I don't even know what to say. It's just such a load off my chest here on hunt 92. Oh my goodness. It's hard to really get his mass, do it justice.
All right, guys, well, finally got it done here in Missouri, late muzzleloader season, December 30th. Just super blessed to have finally got it done, man. We have hunted a lot of hunts this year, but this deer showed up about a week ago, and man, he is awesome. Look at them brow tines. Just an awesome deer. I couldn't be more happy with him, especially this late in the season. But on hunt 92, finally happened for me. It's been a tough season, but we got it done. Well, again, thanks so much for watching, guys. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. You know, I don't even like asking, but I do understand that if we're gonna continue to make hunting videos, you know, it is gonna take you guys' help and for us to be successful. And we've got a lot of really cool hunts planned. Turkey season's coming up. We got some cool stuff planned for that. And we even got a water buffalo hunt planned. So guys, if y'all wanna see us be able to produce these videos, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching.